Hello to everyone. Today we will talk about the third rule from OWASP top 10 mobile risks that exist out there. So in the previous videos we have talked about the first and second rules of OWASP, which talks about the improper credential usage and inadequate supply chain security. It's the two of them, one of the most important things that you have to know about. So that is why, if you want to know more about these rules, just check out my channel. I've talked about them. I've shown most interesting thing about them, how to protect your apps and to implement most security, most protection against vulnerabilities in your application. So just check them out. You will find maybe necessary things from those videos for you, and you can take them from that and use in your application as well. So as we have talked about, as I said, about two rules of OWASP, mobile 10 mobile risks, which is top 10. And today we will talk about insecure authentication and authorization, which I already prepared a couple of ready projects, I would say. And the first, which is backend side, and it's already ready template, I would say. So we will not, I guess that this video will not last longer than an hour, I guess. So that is why it won't take too much. So we will start immediately, I would say. And so this is the Laravel project that I've prepared for introducing, for showing you how the specific server rule of OWASP should work. And it's a Laravel. You don't have to. I will put a link of this project in the description, so you can find and just take a look to the code. I would say that this part of this Laravel code, it's not necessary for you actually, because the main thing that you have to know about the server rule is only the Flutter side, because it's related to the only mobile side. Like these protection of the application only relates to the Flutter mobile applications. It doesn't matter, more Flutter, maybe it's a React Native, or it's a the Kotlin, doesn't matter. So just, this is the Laravel, it's a backend side. You don't have to worry about knowing anything about that. Just will show how the specific rule should work. And this is the Flutter side. I haven't written any kind of line of code, I would say. So we will write code ourselves, so we could understand what we are doing right now. Okay. So look, I will tell you, as I said, a couple of things about the third rule from OWASP. This is the third rule, which is insecure authentication and authorization. And first of all, before starting, we have to know differences between authentication and authorization. Okay, like most of the developers, when they are developing something, they don't understand the difference between them. They will think that both of them are same, like authorization, authentication, but it's not true. So I would say that the authentication is something that you type your login, email, and password, or maybe you type your phone number, which server responds you with OTP code, or maybe Face ID authentication, or maybe a refresh token, access token, doesn't matter, but it's all related to authentication, like phone number, email, login. You have access, something that you can have access to service, to software, maybe to somewhere. This is the authentication. Authentication, as I said, it's a simple one, but authorization it's also a simple one. But authorization is something that user or maybe backend side would say to you that you, even though you are authenticated to the application, to the website, you don't have access to the specific route. For example, you want to get all the users, which is you are just a client, you just a guest maybe who just entered to the application, wants to order pizza, but since you don't have access to get all the users of the application, of the service, so server has to understand that you don't have access to this route. So in most applications, which is, I would say, there are a lot of vulnerabilities which the maybe junior developer or maybe somebody else don't understand the concepts about the server of OWASP, I would say. Since they don't know, when they start developing applications, the most thing they can do is just writing permissions, that checking permission right inside the applications, but without knowing that application can be reversed or maybe like exposed with Frida, any kind of like exposed, it doesn't matter, like they can, the person who is attacker can grab the application, change their permissions in runtime and get access to the users, so if you go and check all the information about users that I've told, the vulnerabilities about applications like Starbucks or maybe Snapchat that I've told in previous videos, video sections, so you can check them. The main vulnerabilities were the third one, like the insecure authorization and authentication. So the most interesting thing is the SIR principle is very necessary. The SIR principle from OWASP, which is very necessary to know about. So let me tell you about most developers misunderstand about this one, about the concept. They will think that since the button is hidden, like as I said, most developers hide their buttons checking permissions, even though the server doesn't check the authorization. Developer from front end side checks the permission and hides the button. Since the button is hidden, means that there is no access. Like, this is the misunderstanding, all the misunderstandings about server. Like, the first one is this button is hidden, there is no access. The second one is, since the request is coming from mobile application, we can consider that this request is safe. If user is the third one, like if user is authenticated, he can do anything. Like, since he has got the token, he can do anything. Or maybe if the user is offline, like the first misunderstand, if the user is offline, we can check access locally. Or even I said that most developers check the, like, let's create this OWASP m3 .tar. Like, let's most of the people like check that if user dot permission or maybe role admin, you can run some function, like this kind of checkers, which is not properly to do. But they don't understand that even though the button is hidden, or maybe even though the function, there is a if statement that checks specific thing, they don't think that the root that the button makes request to the server is not closed, or maybe is open, so everybody can make requests to that specific root. So there are a lot of things, there are a lot of like attack vectors, I would say. Like as soon as hacker understand the sensitive moment of the application, sensitive size, sensitive data, sensitive like places in the application, they can use those places with one of these variants, I would say. They can either fake or maybe bypass authentication, sending requests to the server without using mobile app or just using verb suite, as I said previously. Or they can enter to the application as the admin of the app and change whatever they want as admin, as I said previously, like user role admin. For example, there's a tool that calls Frida or maybe Frida that can change the code in runtime, especially it's related to Kotlin Android applications. I haven't seen that Flutter, but it's possible to change that in runtime. So you don't have to think that Flutter can be changed using Frida. It's possible 100%, I would say. So I only have seen that person changes SSL pinning using Frida. That's all. And so you can have some couple of defense against these actions. So the first one is like so the couple of things I would say, it's a GWT token, GWT or JSON. What was that? JSON token, some kind of token for verification backend, takes GWT but doesn't check. So if you know about GWT tokens, okay, it's something interesting. For example, there are access token and GWT token kind of thing, but they have rules. For example, GWT token, the differences between them is that GWT token, when server takes the GWT token, for example, client, when he authenticates to the application for the first time, he takes, or maybe authenticates, or maybe registers to the application for the first time, that he takes an authorization, he takes access token and GWT token. And what does mean? What is the purpose, I would say? So the main thing which is very interesting, access token lives about maybe a week, maybe, or maybe 2 weeks, but the GWT tokens, they live about an hour, maybe 2 hours. So this is one very interesting. For example, you don't have to send access token all the time, because access token saves in the database, but GWT token doesn't save. So it's verified and signed, I would say, in the Laravel side, in backend side. So every time when you want to have access to a specific screen or root, instead of sending access token, you send GWT token, which means GWT tokens doesn't have to, like, server side doesn't have to always go to the backend, check the token. Maybe you have about 1 million users or billion users which are using your application, and every time when they're making you access for the simple checking whether user is authorized or maybe authenticated, you have to go and check the database. So access tokens, so GWT tokens solve this problem. But yeah, GWT token, it's such a thing that always like sends to the backend, and backend doesn't check the database. It checks whether the token is signed or not, and that's all. So when the GWT token is dead, I would say, you send the access token, because when you send the GWT token, server responds you with other authentication, like 401 status code. And that time you send access token. Access tokens, the most interesting thing about it, like you don't the most interesting concept about access token, it's I would say, what was the name, a refresh token. It's like a refresh token. It means that every time when the GWT token is dead, you send them, and access tokens will be sent. So in order to get new new JW token, a new access token, which it calls refresh token rotation. So that's the main rules about authorization and authentication token. So let's go to the code and check out everything that I've told you. It's the most rules that you have to know about. Like maybe there are a lot of other things, but these ones that I've told you, it's the most necessary one. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to show you in code side. Let's go in developing our application. Let's put this about the mall. Excuse me. Okay. Because this is not necessary. Let's remove them. Let's call this OWASP, but let's call this one app. OWASP. let's start our application and start using our backend side in order to show you how the application should work. So I wrote down the email control and password controller. If you watch my previous videos about garbage collector, when it see that something is using value notifier or maybe change notifier under the hood, all the notifiers will be cleared immediately, or maybe just cleared by the garbage collector, like from the memory, you know. So it would be better, it would be better if you create a dispose function that clears or maybe dispose of everything here, okay, but the Flutter's garbage collector does it instead of you, so you don't have to think, you don't have to worry about these ones. Let's wait a little bit until our application runs, then we will continue. Okay, it's done, I guess. Where is this one? We don't have to run this one, we have to run especially this one, because I guess that when I run the application, it's run another function, another void main. So sliver fill remaining, center, column, text field, okay. Controller is email controller, hint text over the styling, what the hell is going on? What was the styling here? Decoration, decoration, input decoration, hint text is what? Excuse me for disturbing, excuse me for my neighbors if you're listening something, if you're hearing something. They are screaming too much, I don't know why. And there should be a button, cross axis alignment, center, main axis alignment, office center, and there should be a button, elevated button, which registers us and void sign in. Okay, so as I said previously, I've prepared an interesting thing here. Let's check it out. What is the password for Alice? Like it's in the factory, it should be user factory, password. I don't know what is the password. So where it's the cedars. using this one somewhere. So we artisan serve. It's the PHP's versioning, I guess. Let me check it out this one once immediately. Dun, dun, dun. Let me fix this one. What version do we need? Require hash 8.4. Where do we have PHP version 8.4? Since we are running 8.2, somewhere here we had a PHP version. What was that? Maybe let's check this one like this one. Maybe it should work. Okay, now everything is good. Okay, then what should we do? We have to create a user, a new user that will have a password, which is it's check this. Can we edit our codex here? Can you add new user to this project with a password that I can know? And then let's go to our Flutter applications. Let this one to do its own job. Let the codex to do its own job, and let's go and write a function here like sign in. Do we use any kind of HTTP import HTTP? So let's go and add Flutter pub add HTTP. Okay, let's write down dot is HTTP. Okay, response wait http dot get, is it get, is it post? Let's make it post. Sign in. Okay, sign in, and write down here child is text sign in. Okay, we will say that our request should be okay locally. Okay, terminal. This one is not quite good. Grep, and let's start over. Okay, let's go and put somewhere here back URL. Okay, let's write down API here. It's back string. The back URL here. Can we have any access here? So Laravel, it's working pretty fine. And let's put our backend side somewhere here. You need to parse. Backend URL. And what is that? Our backend side says login. Auth login. That's good. Let's put this one here. For the body, what's waiting? Login is waiting email and password, so we will send this one. Okay, let's check. And for the body, is it body or what was that? Body, it has body. Yes, it has body, which is we will send a string and object. Okay, doesn't matter what. For the string is email controller, a text stream, and for the password controller, text string. So let's check what will be the response look like. Response body. Okay, let's put so what our codecs have done here. Still working. That's good if it's working. So what is the password? I guess the password is just the password, maybe. Yeah, the password is just the password. Yeah, that's here we go. Everything that we have is just the password. Yeah, password admin example com admin. This is admin. Let's go with at least one. Okay, let's go with at least one and write down this at least here. So let's check it out once. Yeah. Password is password. Let's check. Invalid credentials. What will happen with if I do with the admin example? Yeah, admin is working, but I don't know why. But it's okay, I guess. There is an access token. Okay. Oh, what do we have? Refresh token we have access token, we have refresh token. that's good. That's everything that we have to know about. We have to like access tokens, GWT token, as I said previously, and refresh token, something that should be saved about maybe a week, and after a week when the so these tokens can be like expired anyway, you know. Maybe this one leaves about an hour or 2 hours, but this one a week. Every time when the access token is dead, you have to send it to the server responds you with authentication, and you send back the refresh token in order to get new refresh token and new GWT token. Remember that. So that's good. Since we are already authenticated, okay, we are authenticated, let's go and create maybe something like inherited widget. Okay, inherited widget, the text, I would say, what should take? It should take a state from the app. That would be better. So you will have a user here. Do we have a user? We don't have. So let's go create a user plus user with name in the middle. Okay, final. And that's all, I guess. Final string role. Let's create role as well. Okay, and then role, user role, which is cashier, manager, admin, cashier, and so factory user from JSON. Okay, JSON name string, JSON email string, and the role would be let's create a function static. Is it should be static user role by name, final string name, and this one should return values, first where or no. Let's add Flutter pub add collection. Or maybe just a cashier. It should work something like this one. And then what should we do? What saying? Already defined where? App inherited widget, or maybe app scope. It's better. App scope. We'll say that app scope state will be our app state. Okay, so we don't have to the main state, the main scope of application is exactly app, you know. It will be above the material app, so whenever we are opening the bottom model sheet or maybe just another screen, our scope will be on top of them, so we can have access to the user. So the user is here, user, okay, init user. So whenever we do something like this one, so we always will get access to the user, so from anywhere from the application. So remember that. And then we will take a state of the main app state, and we will go to this here, and we will say that our main state is this one. It's a required one. No, it's not this factory, it's the static method that returns app state of yield context. Yeah, we'll take our app state to the context, and we will say that we will find our widget here, like inherited widget. For our inherited widget is app scope, and from the context get elements of exact type from this. And we will add assert. We will add assert that our widget should not be null. Otherwise, we will send a notification to the developer that no app scope was found in elementary. And that's all. We will initialize our app scope above the material app. App scope state is this one, and child is our material app. So whenever our application, if the response is success, like status code is 200, final result maybe JSON, or maybe JSON decode the response with as the object, this one, like this one, because our response looks like the JSON. So we will take a user JSON. We'll take a user from that and make it look like HashNode as well. And we'll create our user from JSON, and we put the user JSON there. And we'll put here. And we will say that we put our user to this one, okay, so we can get access from anywhere of the application. So we call app scope here, app scope context, and init the user. of course, if the current screen is still mounted. Okay. So let's check that once again. Of course, password is password. So everything is working right now. Everything is working right now. The only thing that you can do after registration, after login, we have to navigate to another screen which loads specific, what is that, specific API. For example, this one, only for specific authorized users. As I said previously, you have to understand differences between authorization and authentication. Authentication is such a thing that we are doing right now. Like, this is the authentication. But authorization, it's such a thing that servers understand that whether this current user that authorized, the current user that authenticated to the application, which is making requests to with the specific token, does this user have access to specific root? For example, we have a admin users that returns all the users if that user's token is admin. Okay. So what should we do? The only thing that I forgot, it's the token one. Okay. Like, it's the token one, access token. It's not properly to do here, I would say, but let's save the token here as well. It's not properly to do, remember that token should not be saved inside the user, but rather than saving them inside now, I don't know, maybe most of the people, newbies, they save a token inside secure storage, which is not properly to do. But I would recommend you just save the token inside the shared preferences somewhere you can use inside the memory itself. It's the tokens are not sensitive data. If you go and watch my previous video about the first rule of OWASP, you will understand that it's not properly to save the token inside secure. It doesn't have sense, I would say. So, and we would do like this one, token JSON access token, like this one, and then we will create another screen which calls admin users screen, just user screen, users screen. Okay, screen. And the first thing that this screen does is something like, we don't have to show anything, like we will show that it's just a scaffold with a bar, like a bar title is users. Okay, users, and body is in center, just all users. We don't have to show anything here, I just want to show the authorization method, how it works, the way it works. So void load users. Okay, so final response await http get, we will get URI that parses our backend URL. Okay, and with that backend URL it also loads these admin users. Check it out how it works. and prints the response. We will understand how it works. Just look, and we will load the users. After exactly after authentication, a successful authentication, we will navigate to the specific road. User screen. Okay, and it needs headers. Exactly. So that is why we will take a user from app scope. Okay, app scope that user, and we will put the headers in the headers our how the way it how it puts BRL token authorization BRL token, something like this one. If I'm not mistaken, let's check it out. So let's refresh, go to the email sections, copy this, put here. So to be getting this error. So access local token is above that one. Understood. String token, just token. Alright, let's write down this one here for the token. We will write down a user, not user, but this one. Yeah, let's go. Okay. So token message admin user list. Admin user list. So it's working. Okay. Admin users. This is working very well. So if the role is admin, everything is working very well. So what would just a simple developer would do at this moment? Let's imagine that the simple user would do something like this one. If the user excuse me, if the role is admin, okay, the role is user role admin, we would do this request. Yeah, I would say that this kind of checker is not bad to do. It's very fine, I would say. So but when you checking something very necessary which doesn't relate to the other user, maybe for the guests it doesn't relate to them, but suddenly it finds out that somebody else which is doesn't have any access to the admin roles having access, or maybe getting necessary information from, or just the sensitive data from users, sensitive data of the users, and it finds out that your application has vulnerabilities. So the server doesn't work properly, mobile application is now working properly, server is now working properly. It finds out that the main damage is to the, it relates to the, I would say, companies. It damages the company reputations, or maybe something like this one. You have to understand that before doing such things. even though you're checking that this specific role, admin role, it relates to the admin. What happens if you forget adding this kind of checkers? So you have to remember that this kind of specific response, it doesn't matter that you are using it for the responses one, or maybe you are using this one to the for the hiding a specific button, maybe doesn't matter, but you have to remember that whenever you want to hide something from the guests, the server side always should be prepared like very well. So this function might work. Okay, let's check it out. It might work. Exactly, it might work. Okay, what was that? Okay, I set the code, sign in. It's working very fine. Like first request is the request which takes the user. The second one, it's the response from the server that the response is with this function. Everything is good. But what happens, okay, if I go and change the role here from the admin? I will do this like manager. What happens? What do you think? Exactly, yeah. This function might not work. Okay, like let's check. You see, the function, the second function didn't work. Because we are adding like a strict checker statement that checks all the time. It's a strict one. What happens that you forget adding this kind of checkers in the future? So that is why let's remove this one. Okay, for example, it finds out that user that always had specific user type of admin for the specific moment in the application. For all users, doesn't matter it's admin or maybe owner, that specific role will be not necessary, will be removed, or maybe the new role will be added there. So what you in the application you have to like release the new version which has a specific statement that checks the button, maybe checks the request. So you will have to do this kind of such a things all the time, and the new role will add to the application, or maybe the specific role will be hidden from all people, maybe will be hidden only for cashier. Such a things doesn't matter, but you have to add new checker to the application. But so that is why we will remove this checker and we will check it out how the app will trigger. Okay, let's add the password and sign in. The message is forbidden. This is the main thing that we have to know about. Why this is the forbidden? Because you don't have access anymore, since the backend side has a middleware from the roles which checks the admin. If the role is admin, it always checks whether the admin with the token is requesting to the specific role, like middleware. It always has to specific role admin, otherwise, or maybe admin manager cashier, otherwise it will not respond properly to the application. So I guess that this kind of middlewares, you can create a lot of kind of middlewares like this one. Okay, forbidden request with the message forbidden. This is exactly what we are getting a response right now, like message is forbidden. It's returning message forbidden. That's interesting thing. That's the thing that you have to always know about. This is the third rule of the OWASP. So I showed you everything. I will mention everything in the description. okay, in the description that you have that you can know about, and that's such a thing, you know. So if you have any question, any question, you can ask in this description down below. I will try to answer you every question, doesn't matter, that relates to the cert role from OWASP. So there's other security information about the cert rule. I will put them down below in the description that you can read, and also about the client's security in Flutter, how the API keys should be provided themselves securely. So you can read them. Also MC Secure and M3 in secure authentication. That's what I got. So thank you for the listening. If you are watching, thank you for watching, and see you soon. Take care.